Welcome. This is Pastor Charles Franklin Pulu from Revelation Heralds, Kenya, bringing you a study today on the rapture theory. Dear viewer, you may be aware that every church is preaching that Jesus Christ is coming pretty soon, but then where the problem is, the nature of his coming. Many churches have taught about the rapture. Many churches have told people that Jesus can come back any moment, during the day, during the night, and that they have told people to be ready that at any given moment, Jesus Christ can come. And then they have taught people very many theories, which we want to look through today to see whether they stand the test of time or whether they are just mere theories to make people know that Jesus is coming, but then be fooled into not knowing the nature of his coming. Therefore, today we want to look at how the second coming of Jesus Christ is going to take place and be able to demystify the rapture theory that is neither found in the Bible nor is it apocalyptic. First, let us understand that when Jesus went to heaven, he had first met his disciples who were sad when he told them that he was going to leave them. Then he reassured them, as we read in the book of John chapter 14 from verse 1 up to 4. He says, "Do not let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God, trust also in me. For in my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, I would have told you. I'm going there to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you also may be where I am. You know the way to the place where I am going." Therefore, Jesus said he is going to prepare a place for us and that he's going to come back and take us to where he is. Therefore, we are assured that Jesus Christ is coming back to take us to where he has gone to prepare mansions and rooms for us. Because there are churches also who teach that Jesus Christ will not come back. He came back and established a kingdom, and we are already in that kingdom. So this is falsehood. Jesus is coming back. When you are told that he will not come back and that you are already a member in that kingdom here on earth already, he's reigning, that is falsehood, it's not biblical. Therefore, we also read in Revelation chapter 19 that he has prepared a wedding. Just the way the groom prepares a wedding so that on the wedding day, he gets the bride. Therefore, in Revelation chapter 19, verse 7 to 9, the Bible says, "For the wedding of the Lamb has come, and his bride has made herself ready. Blessed are those who are invited to the wedding supper of the Lamb." Therefore, Jesus has gone to prepare a place for us as our groom, and the church is the bride that Jesus is coming to take very soon to go to heaven. Now, on the day when Jesus ascended to heaven, the disciples and men of Galilee kept gazing at the sky, and this is what an angel told them. "Men of Galilee," they said, "why do you stand here looking into the sky? This same Jesus who has been taken from you into heaven will come back in the same way you have seen him go. Therefore, the same way he ascended, so shall he descend." So this is an assurance that if he ascended, he will descend and he will come for his church. And therefore, in Revelation chapter 1, verse 7, the same assurance is given us. And the Bible says, "Look, he is coming with the clouds, and every eye shall see him, even those who pierced him, so shall it be. Amen." That is Revelation chapter 1, verse 7. Look, he is coming with the clouds. and every eye shall see him. Therefore, you are supposed to underline the words, every eye shall see him. That his coming will not be secret. Every eye will see him. And elsewhere, as we shall read, just the way lightning strikes from the east into the west, every eye shall see him. Now, where is the problem? Why do people say that he's coming secretly? They have confused the second coming of Jesus Christ, so that as many people should be confused, such that when he comes, they will not be able to know, they will not be able to understand. And this has been done deliberately, as we shall see later on. Now, during the time Jesus came on this earth, when he was born in the manger, not everybody knew that the king had been born, except some shepherds. When they saw the angels singing, except 3 wise men from the east, all other people were confused because the properties which they had linked to his first coming did not just add up. They expected a savior who would be a king to rescue them from the Romans, and they expected such a savior to be born in a kingly or in a house or in a family that had the qualities of leadership, a rich family. But now here is a king born in a manger. Therefore, this did not make sense to them. The second coming of Jesus Christ also is mysterious, and many people have been confused into coining all manner of theories, and this is why the rapture theory is just one of those theories that is misplaced. It is not found in the Bible. It has never been taught by Jesus himself. It was never taught by the disciples, and it was not taught by any of the fathers regarding Jesus coming secretly. The Bible said, look, he's coming with the clouds, and every eye shall see him. Now, where does this theory come from? Some distortion of the scripture has been done to create this theory. A theory that says Jesus is coming, and he will come in 2 dispensations. In the first, he will be able to secretly pick people such that 2 people will be together. One is snatched away mysteriously, and the one who is left will wonder, where has my colleague gone to? Nothing like that. The Bible does not talk of such bullshit. Now, in Matthew chapter 24, from verse 40 to 42, when Jesus was asked by his disciples about the signs of his coming, this is where the rapture problem has come from, because of misunderstanding what Jesus meant. 2 men will be in the field, one will be taken and the other left. 2 women will be grinding with a handmill, one will be taken and the other left. Therefore keep watch, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come. I repeat, 2 men will be in the field, one will be taken and the other left. 2 women will be grinding with a handmill, one will be taken and the other left. Therefore keep watch, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come. Matthew 24, from verse 40 to 42. Now, these are verses that have been used in a manner that has distorted their true meaning. This world comprises the righteous and the wicked. And Jesus has elsewhere used the same symbolism of 2, where he says, when he comes in the clouds of glory, we shall have goats and sheep, and he shall say to the sheep on his right hand, welcome to the kingdom prepared for you from the time of creation. And to the goats on the left, he shall tell them, away from me, you evildoers. This is in Matthew 25, when he's saying, I was thirsty, I was hungry, I was naked, and you fed me. So he uses the symbolism of 2 animals, the sheep and the goats. Now, when he says 2 people, 2 men will be in the field, 2 women will be grinding, it's the same application. that when Jesus comes back, the world will be in two distinct groups of the righteous and the wicked. He will take the righteous and the wicked will be destroyed. Period. That is what that verse means. It did not mean that Jesus is going to come secretly and for every pair of people, whether men or women, he will pick one. This means he will be able to take 50% of all the people. And the Bible does not say that. It will mean that he'll be handpicking, wherever there will be two people, he'll be picking one and be secretly. This is not true. Therefore, this has been distorted to suit some deceit of the devil, as we shall see later on. And remember, we've read in Revelation chapter 1, verse 7, we've already read that behold is coming with the clouds, and every eye shall see him. So when the term every eye shall see him is used here, it means every eye. It doesn't mean there will be any secrecy whatsoever. There will be no secrecy. Now, how does Jesus come? I want you to understand that there are several elements that are linked to the second coming of Jesus Christ. So in this first section of our discussion, we shall look at the panorama or the elements that comprise his second coming. And in the second part, we shall look at how this rapture theory came about and who began this theory and what was his target. Therefore, how does he come? I want us to look at one first element in Revelation chapter 6, which is dealing with the 6 seals. And when the 6th seal is broken on that book of life, then we see several events happening. We see the sky receding like a scroll. We see men running to the mountains and asking them to fall on them, to hide them from the wrath of him who sits on the throne and the Lamb. So that is one element, that when that day comes, men will run because it will be a terrible day that has never been. And another element I want you to look at is this, where Paul explains how Jesus is coming, because during Paul's time, false prophets had also coined all manner of theories, and they had deceived people that Jesus has already come. And Paul was telling them off, because this is not true. Neither is it true today as you listen to this video. Jesus is yet to come. And when he comes, it will be a public appearance, not to a few, but to every living person who will be alive on that day. He will witness that great event. Therefore, in the first letter to the Thessalonians, in chapter 4, from verse 14 to 17, Paul says, according to the Lord's own word, Paul is quoting Jesus Christ. And he says, according to the Lord Jesus Christ's own word, we tell you that we who are still alive, who are left, in brackets, not killed, till the coming of the Lord, will certainly not precede those who have fallen asleep. So he's talking about two groups. There are people who will be asleep or dead as at the day Jesus comes, and there are people who will still be alive that day. For the Lord himself will come down from heaven with a loud command, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trumpet call of God, and the dead in Christ will rise first. And that we who are still alive and are left will be caught up together with him in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. That's 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 from verse 14 to 17. So, very clear. Paul says, according to the Lord's own word, which is an errand, Jesus will come. Whom will he meet? Those who are still alive and who are not dead. And those who died in Jesus Christ, the righteous who died from all ages, from the first man who died, Abel, in the Garden of Eden, will be resurrected, and they will rise first. And we who are still alive and are righteous, not everybody, but the righteous will be caught up together with them to meet the Lord in the air. Very simple and plain. So two groups of people will meet the Lord. The righteous who died will resurrect first from their graves. And it has not mentioned about the wicked. The wicked will remain in the graves, as we shall see shortly in Corinthians. But the righteous will be resurrected. When they are resurrected, it's one group of the resurrected saints who died in the Lord, who are resurrecting from their graves, and they precede the living. So the living righteous join them together, and they are caught up together to meet the Lord in the air. So two groups. One, the righteous dead who are resurrected, plus the righteous living. The two groups meet the Lord in the air. Where are the wicked? Two groups again. They are the wicked, dead who died in wickedness, will remain in their graves, and the wicked who are living will also see with their eyes the grandeur of the coming of Jesus Christ, but by the splendor of his coming will be destroyed, and their bodies will be scattered all over, as we will see shortly. Now, I want us to look at 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 51. Paul explains this further. He says, listen, I tell you a mystery. We will not all sleep, but we will be able to be changed in a flash, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. For the trumpet will sound, the dead will be raised imperishable, and will be changed. So Paul says this is a mystery. He says, we will not all sleep. That when Jesus comes, not everybody will be dead by then. But we will have the dead and we will have the living. And then for the living and the dead, something will happen. They will be changed. In a flash, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. For the trumpet will sound, and the dead will be raised imperishable, and will be changed. So the bodies that died in sin, not in sin, the deadies that the righteous died with, will be changed, and they'll be given bodies that are glorious to inherit eternal life. Now, I want us to look at the sequence here from the few verses that we've looked at. Number one, Paul has said there will be a trumpet call, and that trumpet will be the last trumpet. What does it mean, the last trumpet? Because we shall have 7 trumpets that God is going to use. Look for the video on 7 trumpets, my video on 7 trumpets, and this will explain the story better. There will be a last trumpet that God is going to use, and this other last trumpet will be by the archangel. Now, what will the aim of sounding that trumpet? The trumpet blast will cause a mighty global earthquake that will rend all graves open. Then when the graves open, the dead in Christ will resurrect first. Then the resurrected saints will begin the journey to ascend, and the righteous living will join the resurrected dead saints in the air, and then the two groups will ascend to heaven with Jesus Christ. They will remain in heaven for 1,000 years, and later on they will come back with Jesus Christ, with the new Jerusalem city, back to this earth again. Now, I want us to look at something else about the second coming, and It has to do with the 1,000 years that I've just mentioned briefly. Where is this found? I want us to read in Revelation chapter 20, verse 4 to 6. It says, I saw thrones on which were seated those who had been given authority to judge, and I saw the souls of those who had been beheaded because of their testimony for Jesus and because of the word of God. They had not worshipped the beast or his image and had not received his mark on their foreheads. They came to life and reigned with Christ for 1,000 years. And the rest of the wicked dead did not come to life until the 1,000 years were ended. So when you read the Bible, these verses mean exactly what they say, and they are so simple and plain. John, while writing this, says he saw thrones, and those who were seated on the thrones, and they had been given authority to judge. And remember in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 2, it says, can't you be able to judge trivial cases within the church? Because don't you know that the righteous will judge the earth? The righteous will judge the angels. So in heaven, the righteous will be given authority. They'll be given the records of all the angels who fell from heaven and all the wicked men who will not make it to heaven. And they'll peruse those records and determine the punishment to be meted out to each one of them. So John says he saw seats on which were seated those who are given authority to judge, the saints, both those who had resurrected plus the living who will ascend to heaven during the day Jesus Christ comes. And then he says this, and I saw the souls of those who had been beheaded because of their testimony for Jesus and because of the word of God. They are not worshipped the beast or his image and are not received his mark on their foreheads. They came to life. So he's talking about the same thing that Paul had talked about in Thessalonians chapter 4. They came to life and reigned with Christ for 1,000 years. So when they ascend to heaven, I want to make this clear, they will reign with Christ in heaven for 1,000 years, and they'll be doing a mighty work of judgment in heaven for 1,000 years. And the rest of the dead, the same verse says, the rest of the dead did not come to life until the 1,000 years were ended. So when Jesus comes, he will pick the righteous, both the living and the dead. They will go to heaven for 1,000 years, but the wicked will not come back to life until the 1,000 years are ended. Therefore, this is why Paul had explained in 1 Corinthians 6, verse 2 and 3, as I had mentioned earlier, do you not know that the saints will judge the world? And if you are to judge the world, are you not competent enough to judge trivial church cases? Do you not know that we will judge the angels? How much more the things of this world? Therefore, that's the work the saints will do in heaven for 1,000 years. Now, I want us to look at another issue here, because people have been taught quite a lot of fake and false theories about the rapture, and they have been told that Jesus will come in two phases and that he'll take people for 3.5 years, he'll return back again and pick others, and they have messed up everything that it's so hard to understand. And they tell people that there will be tribulation, the saints will be in heaven, those who have been taken secretly to heaven, and then those who will remain. There is a gospel preached to save another second group during the tribulation. There's nothing like that. There is no gospel preached during that time of 1,000 years. Neither is there any gospel preached during the time when the saints are in heaven. Now, another problem that has been put into this rapture theory is the misunderstanding of Daniel chapter 9, the 70 weeks prophecy. Now remember, the nation of Judah went to captivity. And God had said through prophet Jeremiah that they will be in Babylon for 70 years, and then they would come back to Jerusalem to rebuild their temple and city walls after the 70 years, because they were taken to captivity for discipline. Now this is the house of Judah, comprising Benjamin, Judah, and the Levites. So we are talking of two tribes, but then the Levites were never given any inheritance in Israel. So we talk of Judah and Benjamin. But the nation of Israel in the north, comprising 10 tribes, went into oblivion when they were captured by the Assyrians. Therefore, order or look at my video regarding the 144,000 and you'll understand this whole narrative clearly. Briefly, it's Judah that went into captivity. Now, they were told that after 7 years they could go back to Jerusalem. Now, while they were in captivity, Daniel wanted to know what would befall the people of Judah, given that the 70 years were coming to an end. So he began fasting for 21 days, wanting God to explain to him what would happen. And then he is told that a decree would be issued for them to go back to Jerusalem. And from the time the decree is issued, they will have to count 70 weeks, which means 490 days, where a day would symbolize a year. So they were to count 490 years from that time. And during that period of 490 years, there are several things that were supposed. Thank you. So we are talking about the 70 weeks prophecy that the nation of Judah was given. And this is why those 7 weeks have created a big problem, where they have brought them into the rapture false theory to deceive very many people. How has this happened? They were given 70 weeks, which is 490 years, from 457 BC, when they were supposed to leave Medo-Persia after Artaxerxes gave that decree to go back to Jerusalem. So they were supposed to count from the time of the decree. They were supposed to count 70 weeks of years. That's 490 years. And there are properties which were given in the 70 years: to finish transgression, to atone for wickedness, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal prophecy, anoint the most holy. And they were told that 69 weeks will pass, and those 69 weeks, the Messiah will have come and he will be cut off. And then in the last week, he was supposed to come and do his work for 3.5 years. And then after 3.5 years, in the middle of the 70th week, he would be cut off. So this means in the 483 years, the Messiah began his work. And then in the middle of that time, he was cut off. He was crucified. And then there remained another 3.5 years. So now what have the rapture crusaders done? They have carried forward that week, that last week, which is the 70th week, or the 490th year. And they have carried it forward and now said that the rapture will take 7 years, which is the last week. So this prophecy regarding the Messiah ended long time ago, but then they have carried forward 7 years from the same prophecy. They have detached the 7 last years. So they have calculated everything right for 483 years, and then they have had a sudden bump, and then carried forward over 2,000 years ahead, carried forward 7 years. And these 7 years, they have subdivided them into two. that there is 3.5, then for the rapture, secret rapture, then after that there is another 3.5 years, which is all falsehood. In mathematics or in the number line, figures follow one another up to the last figure. There is no sudden end and a carryover of time. That is what that prophecy for 7 weeks had to do with the with the first coming of Jesus Christ up to the time of 33 AD, 33, 34 AD. That is when the 490 years came to an end from the time they left captivity after the 70 years. Now, another issue I want us to look at is this. In Matthew chapter 24, Jesus said, "He who stands firm to the end will be saved. The gospel of the kingdom will be preached in the whole world as a testimony to all the nations, and then the end will come. As lightning that comes from east is visible even into the west, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. When lightning strikes, it is visible to all, and so will the coming. At that time, the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky, and all nations of the earth will mourn. They will see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of the sky with power and great glory. As it was in the days of Noah, so will it be at the coming of the Son of Man. They knew nothing about what would happen until the flood came and took them all away. That is how it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. Therefore keep watch, because you do not know what day your Lord will come." Now, Jesus has said his coming will be like the striking of lightning from the east to the west. When lightning strikes, every man is alert and every man sees the coming. So there will be nothing like a secret coming. It will be like the striking of lightning from the east to the west. Now, before he comes, very many scoffers, of course, will scoff at the second coming and say, "Where is this coming that he promised us? Ever since the times of our fathers, everything has gone on as it has done before." So, this has confused very many people. The truth of the matter is, Jesus is coming. And when he comes, this is what will happen. In Matthew 24, verse 29 to 31, it says, "Immediately after the distress of those days, the sun shall be darkened." So before he comes, there is distress. And then on the day he comes, the sun, the moon will not give their light, the stars will fall from the sky as the heavenly bodies will be shaken. And at that time, the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky, and all the nations of the earth will mourn. They'll see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of the sky with power and great authority. So, his coming will be preceded by distress, a great tribulation. Distress is coming upon the nations, and then the climax of it is the second coming of Jesus Christ in the clouds of glory. The rapture theory is a theory that was coined around 1820, and I'll give you the history of this theory, because it is neither biblical, neither does it have any connection with the book of Revelation or any other related apocalyptic prophecies. How did this theory come about? I want you to understand that the word rapture is not found anywhere in the Bible, but this word was coined, as I've said, in the mid-1820s to create a theory, to design a new theory about the second coming of Jesus Christ. The truth of the matter is, Jesus Christ is coming, and the Bible refers to his coming as the second coming, because he came first as a child, was born in a manger, ministered amongst us, was buried, resurrected, and went to heaven, and is coming back again to take the bride. Therefore, the Bible talks about the second coming of Jesus Christ, but not the rapture. Now, what is this rapture? Many people have explained the rapture in several terms that are quite confusing, as they are the crusaders of this theory. There are those who have said that the rapture in this case means that Jesus Christ is coming secretly, and that when people will not be prepared, or when they will not know that his coming is near, they will by accident, or they will find that God has sent Jesus Christ and he has come to pick people secretly and taken them to heaven, and they wonder what has happened about our brothers or our sisters whom we were together, and they'll be told they have been raptured, they have been taken secretly. So the rapture theory teaches another theory within itself, which is called the secret rapture. That the coming of Jesus Christ, when Jesus said that every eye shall see him in the clouds of glory, the crusaders of the rapture theory have said, no, it will not be open, it will not be a manifestation that everybody will witness. They are saying it will be secret. So this is a deceit of the devil from hell, from the abyss. The coming of Jesus Christ will be seen by all people who will be living upon the earth. It will not be secret. So they say that he will come secretly. Where are they getting this teaching from? Matthew chapter 24 and verse 42, where Jesus, from verse 40 up to 42, where Jesus had said that two women will be grinding at a mill, and one will be taken and the other one left. Two men will be in the field, one will be taken and the other one will be left. Now, Jesus talked about two groups of people, the righteous and the wicked. That during the day he will come, he will take the righteous, whom he has also referred to elsewhere as the sheep in Matthew 25. But the goats he will leave and destroy them. So he has used the word two, that two men, two women, to compare to two animals, the goats and the sheep. Now, they have taken this a notch high and also given the rapture several other dimensions by saying the rapture will occur pre-tribulation. And others have also said the rapture will occur mid-tribulation. That before the so-called rapture comes about, we will have the great tribulation. So there are those who believe that the rapture they are teaching will come before the time of tribulation, so that Jesus comes and steals secretly people from the earth, and then those who are left he allows to go through tribulation. Jesus doesn't work that way. There are others who have also believed that there will be tribulation, but midway in the middle of that tribulation, then the rapture will take place. This also is not true, because Jesus says in Matthew 24, after the distress of those days, they'll see the Son of Man coming in the clouds. So he comes after tribulation is over. He comes at the very edge, or at the very climax, or at the very end of tribulation. So these are two explanations that tribulation has been given: pre-tribulation rapture, mid-tribulation rapture, which are all false. They are not in the Bible. Now, I want us to look at another issue. How did this rapture theory come about? The roots of the rapture theory are embedded in two origins. The first one is a dream by one lady called Margaret MacDonald. Margaret MacDonald. This is a lady who had a dream, and in that dream, she claims that Jesus directed her and showed her several things that should happen, as we shall see shortly. The second root comes from the Roman Catholic Jesuits, who laid the foundation of this theory. so that it could sway the Protestant churches that in the mid-1820s were teaching the whole world that the Pope is the Antichrist, which is not true. Therefore, they wanted to sway the masses into believing that the Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church, which the Protestant churches were saying this is the harlot system of Revelation chapter 18 and Revelation chapter 13. So they had to sit down with a lot of craftiness to craft a theory called the rapture theory, and it was absorbed again by the same Protestants, as we shall see shortly. Now let's begin by Margaret MacDonald. This was a lady who was very ill and was on the verge of dying. Now what happened? During that time, when she was detached mentally from this earth, she saw mingled prophecies and visions, which she cannot explain whether they were prophecies, whether they were dreams, whether they were visions. But she says she went through some visionary activity, and she says that Jesus Christ met her and told her that she should warn the people that he's coming soon, but his coming will be spiritual and not physical, and that is going to come in two phases. And then I will quote part of that dream. It's a long dream, and I will quote some words from it. It was first the awful state of the land that was pressed upon me. I saw it was the Lord himself descending from heaven with a shout, the glorified man, even Jesus. I saw the error to be that men think that it will be something seen by the natural eye, but it's spiritual discernment that is needed. Only those who have the light of God within them will see the sign of his appearance. This Christ in us that will lift us up, he is the light. It is only him and only those that are alive in him that will be caught up to meet him in the air. I saw that we must be in the spirit to see spiritual things. I felt that two shall be in the bed, one will be taken and the other left. Because one has the light of God within, while the other cannot see the kingdom of heaven. He that shall come will come and will not tarry. Amen and amen. Even so, come Lord Jesus. Now, that's the end quote. Now, here she has said, two will be in bed. One who has the light of Jesus Christ in him will see Jesus spiritually. But one who does not have the light of Jesus Christ in him will not discern with the naked eye. And therefore, she laid the foundation of the secret rapture theory. Now, in this dream, when she was healed, she went and taught this all over the place and talked of the secret rapture everywhere, so that people now were swayed into believing that not every eye will see him, but only those who have Jesus in them spiritually will be able to discern his coming, and they will be stolen or raptured secretly. So that theory was now taught. And remember, it was a time when Protestantism was rising, and Protestantism was now looking for every manner of doctrine to lay their foundation of faith. Now, let's look at the Roman Catholic Church around that time, 1820. This theory of the rapture was never taught, but then following Margaret MacDonald's dream, around 1830, there came people from within the ranks of the Catholic Church, and the Protestant churches were teaching that the Pope is the embodiment and personification of the Antichrist, and that the Roman Church is the harlot system found in Revelation 13, 17, and 18. So they were dissuading people to come out of the Roman Catholic Church and telling them that the church was the harlot, and that the Pope was the Antichrist. Those are the words they were using, not my words. And they made people believe that coming from the Catholic Church, joining the Protestant churches in their diversified foundations which were coming up around that time, because that's the time the Seventh-day Adventist Church was coming up. That is the time the Jehovah's Witness under John Smith was coming up. That's the time the Mormons were coming up. That's the time very many other Pentecostal churches were coming up. The Assemblies of God were coming up around 1820 to 1844, 1850. So there was so much religious activity. There was so much jostling for doctrine. And therefore, having taught people that the Catholic Church is the harlot system, the Catholic Church did not take it lightly. What happened? One man called Francisco Ribera was the one who laid the foundation within the Catholic Church, which was passed over to the Protestant churches. Now, instead of viewing the book of Revelation to do with end-time events, chronologically arranged, apocalyptically arranged, they consigned all prophecies in the book of Revelation to a brief period of 7 years and carried forward the 490 years, that's the 7 weeks prophecy that Daniel had been given in Daniel chapter 9. They consigned that last week or the last 7 years of that prophecy to the distant future. And they said that time is the time called the tribulation. What did Francisco Ribera do? What he did is he wrote a book in which he said, this is Francisco Ribera, taught in his book that there will be the Antichrist, and when the Antichrist comes, he will come and he will be fought by Jesus Christ, and there will be a rapture midway, 3.5 years. Now, following this foundation, a man again came from within the ranks of the Catholic Church called Emmanuel Lacunza. Now, Lacunza, having read what Ribera had written, he wrote a book which is called The Coming of the Messiah in Glory and Majesty. Now, this is Emmanuel Lacunza. Now, because he was a Jesuit within the Catholic Church, what did he do? He knew that the Protestants would not read his book. Therefore, he had to take on another name called Rabbi Ben Ezra. Rabbi Ben Ezra purported to be a Jew who had received Jesus Christ, and Jesus had appeared to him and given him the rapture message to preach to the whole world. Therefore, Rabbi Ben Ezra, being the other name for Emmanuel Lacunza, wrote that book, The Coming of the Messiah in Glory and Majesty, and he said this was a converted Jew who had been given the rapture message by Jesus Christ, that he will come 7 years before or during the time of tribulation, and that events will happen where one person will be picked and the other one left, and that we shall have the Antichrist who will come from China, from the East, and that the harlot is not the Roman Catholic Church. So he wrote very many things there to explain the rapture theory and made its foundation. Now, after Lacunza, there was a man called Edward Ivy in Scotland. In 1792, this man was a very eloquent preacher from 1792, and in 1827, he came across the teachings of Lacunza, and he really loved those teachings, and he began teaching the Secret Rapture of the Saints in Scotland from 1827, which gave rise to a people called the Plymouth Brethren, And the Plymouth Brethren also, around the same time, they also influenced a man called John Nelson Darby. Now, John Nelson Darby also consumed all these rapture teachings and consigned the book of Revelation into the future and gave rise to a school of thought in prophecy called futurism, where every event was consigned to the distant future, and it was also called dispensationalism, where dispensation, where all these events will take place at a given time in the future. Now, after Darby, then we have C.I. Scofield, who came under the influence of Darby and the Plymouth Brethren. And Scofield was convinced that all the events in the book of Revelation will be done in the future, and therefore he had to come up with the C.I. Scofield Reference Bible, where he gave references to how these events will happen in the rapture, and in the reference notes at the back of the Bible, because he was a millionaire and managed to print millions of Bibles, with the Secret Rapture being a theory taught within the last pages of the Bible, in the glossary, in the index, in the reference at the back of the Bible. Therefore, he taught the Secret Rapture that within 7 years, the book of Revelation is going to take place. And because this was a Bible with a reference, and it was the most popular Bible at that time, which was given now to all the assemblies of God, the Pentecostal movements that were coming up. So they consumed whatever Scofield had written in the Scofield Reference Bible as if it was the truth from the seat of God. Now, many people who read whatever is contained in his explanation, his personal explanation of the rapture theory, have believed that because this is written in the reference Bible, then this is the absolute truth. Now, many people have been lost because they have read this, and all churches, majority of the Pentecostal churches, have taught this rapture theory based on what Scofield wrote. He was a scholar, he was an individual, he picked this from Darby, and he influenced the Pentecostal churches into believing into this theory of the rapture that is neither here nor there. Now, briefly, we are seeing how this theory spread from one person to the other. The first person was a Jesuit called Ribera Francisco. He influenced Lacunza, Emmanuel. Lacunza influenced David Ivan. Ivan influenced John Darby. John Darby influenced Scofield. And Scofield influenced D.L. Moody. Moody now was called the father of the Pentecostal movement. Why? Because now he established the Pentecostal movement into an organized people who are preaching the rapture message and saying any moment Jesus Christ can come secretly. And they influenced very many people, and they began the Assemblies of God as a movement or a denomination throughout the whole world. And many people were convinced into this secret rapture theory, which does not make sense in regard to what the Bible says in the book of Revelation and what Paul says in Thessalonians. Therefore, very many people have believed this theory, but the theory is falsehood. Now, let us break this down. Paul says, we shall have a trumpet call of the archangel, and when this happens, then we shall see Christ coming in the clouds, and that archangel will cause a resurrection of the dead in Jesus Christ first. Then the resurrected saints will be joined by the righteous living, and the two groups will ascend in the sky to meet Jesus Christ. Then they will go to heaven for 1,000 years. And after the 1,000 years, books will be opened again when the dead who died in sin, in wickedness, will be brought back to life after the 1,000 years, so that each one of them will be judged according to the things that were written about his life in the books of record. Therefore, what does this mean? We will have tribulation. We will have the 7 first trumpets of Revelation 8 and 9, where God is going to destroy a third of everything he created as a warning to all people in all religions and all walks of life to know that the door of mercy is about to close. After the 7 trumpets, then the door of mercy will close. And the 7 trumpets will be sounded for 3.5 years, which have nothing to do with the rapture theory, or the 7 years which have been carried forward from the 409 years, as I've explained earlier. God says the trumpets will take 42 months. And after that, the door of mercy will be closed on humanity. Then will follow 7 last plagues in Revelation chapter 16, which are a replica of the trumpets, only that in them God's wrath is completed, according to Revelation 15 and verse 1. Now, when the 7 last plagues, which complete God's wrath, are over, then Jesus will come in the sky to take his church, the bride. Why? Because tribulation, people will have gone through a hard time, and God only gives mercy. That's why a third of everything he created is destroyed within the time of the trumpets. 1/3. That is his wrath mingled with mercy, for people to repent and for all people from all religions to know that there is God in heaven and not their idols. Once this is over, after the 42 months or 3.5 years, then it will be followed by the 7 last plagues, which will take a very short time of less than 2 months. Thereafter, Jesus Christ will come in the clouds of glory. Now, when he comes, the last trump will sound, where the dead in Jesus Christ will resurrect from their graves, and the righteous living, on the day Jesus comes, there will be lightning, rumblings, and a great mighty earthquake. The graves will be broken and opened. Therefore, those who died in Jesus from all ages will resurrect, and they will be joined by the living, righteous, to meet the Lord in the air. Where will they go? They will go to heaven, where Jesus said, "Behold, I'm going to prepare a place for you, so that you will be with me wherever I go." Therefore, we will be in heaven with Jesus for 1,000 years, as we have read in Revelation chapter 20. While in heaven, a work of judgment will be taking place, what we call executive judgment, to determine the punishment due, the sentence due to each sinner. So the records of all the wicked will be looked into by the saints. After the 1,000 years, then books will be opened, so that what the saints will have determined according to the sins the wicked did while alive, they will receive their due punishment in the lake of fire. And then the lake of fire will burn everything, and the last enemy to be destroyed will be the devil himself, will be thrown into this lake of fire, and then the earth will be created anew, and the saints will live with God on this earth forever and ever. There is nothing like the rapture theory, where people are taught that they will be taken secretly. Jesus comes only on one day, He will take the righteous on one day. They will go with him to heaven. He doesn't come twice. He doesn't come for his people here called the church secretly. He doesn't rapture the church secretly to heaven and then later on come again for another group of people that will be gleaned from the tribulation. It doesn't work that way. The Bible has not said that. Jesus comes only once, and behold, every eye shall see him when he comes in the clouds of glory. Only once, not twice.